is Dave Arnold, your host of Cooking Issues, coming to you live from the heart of Manhattan at Rockefeller Center, New York City, Newsstand Studios. Joined as usual with John sitting behind me today. How you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're lying.
No. Right. Start to the week.
Okay, great.
Fine, yeah.
Soups. All right. Got Joe Hazen rocking the panels. What's up?
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to a Tuesday, Cooking Issues.
Yeah. Over there in Los Angeles, we got Nastasia the Hammer Lopez. How you doing, Stas?
Good. I'm great.
Yeah. And I think we got Jackie Molecules over there as well.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Doing well. And, I love to say we also in the upper left-hand corner, Quinn. We got Quinn, so we got the full Cooking Issues crew. But even better than that, even better, we have today as our special guest, long time friend of the show and of ours personally, Dr. Arielle Johnson, pushing her new book, which I'm holding the first ever, and I hold it up to the camera, the first ever hard copy of it ever off the presses. And by the way, Arielle, I still have the original first Liquid Intelligence that came off the press, and that became our bar standard, and it's all marked up, and so hopefully you'll do the same with your original copy. Flavorama! A guide to unlocking the art and science of flavor by Arielle Johnson, forward by Reni Redzepi, with 99 recipes. Now you got two things going through my head with the 99 recipes, Arielle. You got 99 problems,
exactly,
which obviously you were referencing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last night I was at Amore Margot, a bar here in New York, and Austin Hennelly, our friend from Cato, was doing a pop-up there with Max Green. It was totally packed. But Cato just got named to, I thought it was this is how stupid I am about L.A. Stas, you'll appreciate this. I thought it was the 101 best restaurants in L.A., and he's like, no, it's the 101. It's like 101 because of the freaking freeway. And I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Nowhere I'd rather be.
Well, you haven't been live at the new place yet. How do you think? Do you like our digs?
It's lots more marble and shiny gold stuff than at the trailer in Roberta's, definitely.
Yeah. But a place you get more fish bowling from people,
Can go get a bottle of wine.
Yeah, hipsters don't look at you as much. We looked at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nastasia.
Right.
I kind of miss that. You don't get the...
Well, this is a magnet for tourists who are here to look at things. So
yeah. Hey, Nastasia, who is your favorite Roberta's person to look at, to watch?
Wasn't it Nazi Jesus?
Yeah. Well, he was there was Jesus. It's Indie Jesus.
Indie Jesus, I thought. Yeah.
It was Indie Jesus and
Indie Jesus.
and Santa's Nazi elf.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, it was like that guy was such a character. It was an exact cross between an elf and a cartoon Nazi. It was the craziest thing.
Hitler used.
I don't think I ever saw that guy. Or
you would have noticed.
Maybe, yeah.
Like the tight shorts, that look, and that elf at the same time. It was weird, real weird.
He had green hair.
I mean, that's not that weird for Bushwick, but
yeah.
No.
I have not been back to Bushwick in years. I have no idea what it's like over there now. For all I know, it's all people in suits.
Not that many suits, but a bit more people who look like they are product managers at a tech company than 5 years ago, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh, hey, so the way this works now is that we all kind of shoot the breeze over what happened in the past week, but I do have a small announcement first, right? Right now, in from Booker and Dax, just landed in the United States, are a small batch of Sears All Pros. That's right, Sears All Pros. Get them while they last. There's 50% more Siri area now with MAP Gas. Get a Sears All Pro. Get a Sears All Pro. Hey, everybody, get a Sears All Pro. Yeah! Okay, that was my little announcement. And by the way, if anyone wants to become a sponsor on the show, I can do things like this for your company as well.
I might have to take you up on that for the book tour.
Okay, everyone gets the same jingle. It's going to be like, hey, everybody, whatever it is. It's always the same basic jingle. Call in your questions, too, Arielle, at 917-410-1507. That's 917-410-1507. So now we shoot the breeze about last week. Anything other than the fact that you have the first ever copy of your new book?
Yeah, well, I have the first ever copy of my new book.
By the way, fantastic. I didn't get to finish it because I just started reading it. I just received a copy recently. But I like it's like all like hand drawings, very, like nice punchy color. Also,
Thank you.
Like I was like worried because like for a complicated subject,
Right.
It's like
It looks kind of small.
Well, it's like
It's like 320 pages, which was
that's a good length. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's like it's there to help you. It's
Right.
not there to be like must learn science. You know what I mean? It's like very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, there was a version of it a couple years ago that was like 175,000 words.
That's a lot.
Where I hadn't like yet let go of the academic tendency of like I have to show that I know everything about this so that people take it seriously.
Well, there's a couple.
That's not fun to read.
There's a couple of science, like you know, tell me if I'm wrong, but like you know how like there's a whole group of scientists who get real bent when you like anthropomorphize things at all or make things at all kind of easy for people to understand because they're worried about people's intuition slipping into whatever.
Oh yeah, no, they're very vocal about my work. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's very helpful to get people to understand what's going on, and the stuff that you say that's like that doesn't lead people's intuition in the wrong direction because you're careful about that.
Well, and you have to understand you're like not speaking to, you know, someone with a background in any of this. You're talking to someone who's like maybe curious, but like doesn't have, you know, the reference points are analogies. They're not like theory. So you have to make a decision about like, well, do I want this to be like academically accurate to like the current data, or do I want people to leave with something true and useful that they just learned?
I mean, my bet is useful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I have this problem whenever like even just like I'm doing the update on Liquid Intelligence and Jen, you know, who looks at my stuff. It's like what the hell? I was like, but I have to or I'm going to get crap from this other butthead.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, also, John, in case you weren't already going to run out and buy this, it's not available till March. So we're going to have you on again.
You can pre-order it now.
Yeah?
It's available to pre-order.
Can you pre-order it at Kitchen Arts and Letters, which is where I want you to pre-order it?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them, but most of the online spots have it.
Well, we got to
Bookshop.org if you want to support your local independent bookseller.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we'll talk to like either John or Matt. Why don't you hit up John or Quinn? Hit up Matt and at Kitchen Arts and Letters. See if we can get them on the pre-order because we will do our Patreon discount. I don't know if they can apply it to a pre-order. I don't know how it works. I don't know.
Well, but if I were a smarter business person, I'd sort that out.
Yeah. The other thing is that if you weren't already gonna buy this book, I'm pretty sure it's the only book on this subject I've ever read that quotes Mike Tyson. You know? Pretty sure.
Great.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's if it's true, it's true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know the thing is, like early on, he never used to get punched, so he kept his plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is the wisdom of experience.
Yeah.
I think.
Remember how fast he used to be? He was so fast.
Vaguely.
Like they used to just like show like videos of him like they'd have these things swinging at his head and he'd be dodging them and like, you know, beating everyone else up at the same time. He was just like a phenom. You know? Anyway, so back to shooting the breeze. Anything other than this fantabulous thing arriving at your doorstep that happened?
That's a pretty momentous one. I guess professionally, not much else super exciting going on now.
No? Any terrible meals or good meals?
Terrible meals. I had like, maybe I should have known what I was getting into. I had like terrible takeout pizza from Italy, but I was with like, it was one of those situations where you were like with family and someone decided to make a takeout order and it's like, you know what, just let's do it because it's easy, but it was not very good.
So like, you know, I just like whenever like I have to eat something that I know I don't want, I just turn off. It's fine.
Yeah,
you know
I mean, it's like I'm hungry. I know I'll get cranky if I don't eat. So
you know who can't do that? Nastasia. She still gets mad at me over bad lunches that she's had like 10 years ago. Like we'll have a bad lunch like 10 years ago, and she's like, you know why you're a bad person?
Lunch that you were like looking forward to and
no. She's just like, why did you sit around? Tell him, Stas. Tell him the lunch.
I think I told you, Arielle, when me and Dave and Harold, like we had to go to the fruit tasting, and they were all the people that were hosting us were having lunch after it. No one told us to bring our own sack lunch, so we just sat there watching them eat their sack lunches.
I mean, that's
And
like
Harold-
such a bad meal that there is no food involved.
There was like crackers or some crap. It's just like,
No.
who cares though? That's the thing. But still,
Well, it's like-
10 years
it's like
later,
bad-
I got to hear about it.
Bad meal with good hospitality versus poor hospitality is like
This was no meal,
two
no meal,
different
no
experiences.
hospitality. We were
Right.
there to do business.
Right.
Like I wasn't there to like become friends with these people. I was there with friends. At least I thought. Like Nastasia and Harold. Like Harold was cool with it, right? We were there to eat an ungodly amount of citrus. And you know what we did? We ate an ungodly amount of citrus. Yeah. And so like, the fact that everyone else was a huge weirdo and I didn't have, we didn't have like, prepared lunch. So what? Like, so what?
It's funny. It's funny that the framing that Nastasia is still angry about it years later when you're a little worked up about it.
Well, I'm just
years
worked
later.
up. To me, it's just like indicative of like our whole relationship that I don't understand. Anyway, what about you, Stas? You have any good or bad, indifferent food or otherwise moments?
I had to go to Vegas last week, and I had a really good meal at a Jewish deli not near the Strip.
Huh.
Nice.
Is it same as like in New York style, like the big things of pastrami or what?
No, it was it was pastrami sandwiches and chicken noodle soup. Like it was super. It's called Weiss's Deli, and it's in like a strip mall, and it's packed, and it's really good.
I have never been to Vegas.
I've had
ever.
some really good Hawaiian food in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, Vegas has like the largest population of people from Hawaii outside of Hawaii, so there's a lot of like strip mall places with like really good plate lunches and
Really?
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
Macaroni salad, mahi mahi.
These are two places I've never been: Hawaii
Yeah.
and Vegas.
Well, I've never been to Hawaii either, but
Yeah. My wife was born there, and she's never been back.
Interesting.
They moved out when she was 3. Yeah. Anyway, military
Well.
military
yeah,
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's got the Hawaiian middle name, and her sister has the Hawaiian first name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
What about you, Molecules or Quinn? What do you guys got?
I actually went to this place called with Nastasia actually and my girlfriend. We went to a place called Genghis Cohen, which is they call it New York style Szechuan Chinese. The ridiculous name of a restaurant.
I keep seeing that place on Google Maps when I'm in LA, and I'm like, I've
Genghis
got to check this out sometime.
I gotta say, like, even though clearly like this got to be a place that's been around a while, right? Because you couldn't come up with that name nowadays, but I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. How was the food?
It was great. Like they didn't try to do anything too new to it. It just tasted like a regular New York City Chinese place,
Genghis Cohen.
It was very comforting.
All right.
But it's one of those menus that's just impossibly long, where there's like 8 different sections and like 12 different fried rices. And you're like, I don't know. I always wish those places just had like a let us choose, Like,
I wish
give me
every place on earth had that.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
I know. I never want to make any decisions
I
ever.
hate choice so much.
Well, it's like you guys would know better than me. Like,
Yeah,
you know your food. Yeah.
I want other people to have choices, right? Like,
Right.
but I don't want to choose. You know what I mean?
I feel like I make so many choices, like
Yeah.
in my professional life, that in my personal life, it's just nice to
Right.
sometimes not
Right.
make decisions.
Okay. Sorry, Stas. Could beat on you again with this, but that's another thing Stas hates about me is that, like, when we order, I always want to order last. And it's I don't know why, actually, as I'm saying it, I don't even understand it, but it's like, it's tied into the not liking to choose kind of a sitch, but it pisses her off so much that even though she
So
doesn't, you don't even care, you just don't
Yeah.
want me to do that, right?
Right. So I tried to be the last one if I'm around you over there.
For no reason. For no reason. Yeah.
For no reason, yeah. I'll know what I want,
Yeah.
20 minutes before you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, like, literally, I don't know until my mouth opens and words come out of it. And then she'll get mad at me for asking the server. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No balls.
I have balls. I just don't care. I don't like to want to choose.
Yeah, I find sometimes it's like if I don't have something that's like a basis for making an opinion, like I can't make an opinion. Although I have been working sometimes. I mean, having just said that, like that is also a great way to make yourself crazy. And sometimes just making a decision feels a lot better.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like the perfect decision.
Look, if I go to a place and it's a crap hole, I'm just going to order what I want because it's all going to suck. Right? If I go into like a garbage can diner, I'm going to get corned beef hash and eggs because I know it's going to come out of a can and I don't care how overcooked my eggs are.
You know it's going to be consistent. You know what you're going to get. It's not going to be a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if I'm not in the mood for that, I'm going to get a patty melt because pretty much as long as it comes with the requisite crap, I'm going to love it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know, I go to a diner, order pancakes because they're just going to be pancakes.
Yeah, they're going to be like
They're going to be diner pancakes.
They're going to be Bisquick level, frigging whatever.
And the person who makes them makes like hundreds a day, so they're going to be consistent.
Speaking of restaurants like this, did you hear about the California Chipotle lady?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Best ever. So this lady, she shows up at a restaurant. They're short-staffed, right? And I think it was even the shift manager was working, I think she was a manager. Maybe she wasn't. And so she makes this lady's order. And the lady's like, it's wrong. So she's like, fine, she'll make it again. She makes it again, gives it back to the lady. It was still wrong. So then the lady starts, a burrito, starts yelling at her, throws the freaking burrito in her face. So she's got sour cream and hot burrito. And you know what Chipotle burrito is like? So much rice and garbage in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like anyway. So like that stuff's all dripping all down her face. She has to go in the back room and compose herself because she's at a workplace in front of a bunch of people and she's just had been assaulted.
Fair.
Anyway, so luckily a bunch of people were recording. Lady gets arrested, right? So she goes to trial. She gets sentenced to 90 days in jail. But the judge says that they'll knock 60 days off if she works in a fast food restaurant for 60 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. I
can think of a lot of people that should be sentenced to working in a fast food restaurant or other service job for 60 days before they're allowed to be out in public again.
What kind of what?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
Like, it's one, it's just a burrito, and two, like...
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not...
Those are also people, you know? Like,
Yeah, no, the woman who was assaulted, she ended up quitting her job. She'd been there for 4 years and... like has understandably PTSD from it, and I think is trying to figure out something else to do. But yeah,
I mean, I've never had that happen to me. I still remember bad customers.
I mean, I've been screamed at, but no, I've never had anything thrown in my face.
Yeah. How about these people? Have you ever been hit with a large candy cane? Hello, fake candy cane people. These people, it's not a candy cane. It's like a
peppermint stick.
A peppermint stick,
Scepter.
barber pole,
pole.
scepter. This is Rockefeller Center at Christmas time. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why are they walking around with it?
Yeah, I guess that's a thing. You know?
That's not a thing, though.
No, I know. But, like, it's like Elf on a Shelf was invented wholesale like that.
Yeah.
And now it's a thing.
Well, I mean, it's all invented wholesale.
Sure. But, like, invented wholesale within the time period that I have been an adult. And so, therefore, you know, like in the immortal words of Douglas Adams, newfangled and wrong.
Yeah.
If it was wholesale invented 25 years ago, then it's as the world should be.
I'm sure Hallmark was behind that.
Probably.
Someone making a truckload of money on this, but so earmuffs, any small children's earmuffs. But my niece, man, she's all about that elf.
Oh, okay.
She's all about it. Okay, get this. So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about,
how old is she?
It's like about that high.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The deal is that this elf, right, moves. It's a stuffed elf, but it comes alive at night. Which, by the way, that should scare the hell out of you right there. Right there. If you have a stuffed animal that comes alive at night, hide your knives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, so like the elf like moves from place to place in your house, quote unquote, moves when it comes alive at night. If you touch it. Get this. This is how demented this is. If the kid touches the elf, the magic is gone. It's dead. Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
I had no idea that there was this like disturbing lore behind it. I thought I just watched you. So you know,
that's also
like
creepy.
Surveillance state allegory.
He sees
not even
you
allegory.
in
Exactly.
the bathroom.
Exactly. And that's how.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you then want to touch the elf to, you know, remove this panopticon situation from your living space?
I mean, that's what I do. I was like, you know, like touch wood, touch elf.
Exactly.
Kill that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but like, So like, they're petrified that they are gonna like murder. I don't think maybe it doesn't die. It just doesn't come back into that stuffed creature anymore. I don't know. All around creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, folklore is full of scary stories like that, but at least they like have some kind of important lesson that they teach. Like, don't go out into the woods at night when we're in a pre-technological society and wolves will definitely eat you.
Yeah.
Well, this just seems like cruel.
This is important information. Don't touch crap your parents don't want you to. You know? Like, I wish, you know what I mean?
Let's design something that children want to touch and then tell them that they can't touch it arbitrarily.
Yeah. Well, it'd be amazing if they did it like the way my old apartment worked. If I said don't touch it, it would probably really hurt you if you touched it.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. You're not allowed to do that anymore either.
Oh, have it hurt people when they touch it?
So one of the reasons we moved out of the garment district where I had my loft was it just wasn't a great place for kids, right? We had Booker, and our radiators, when they came on, which was, you know, not that often, but when they came on, they were like super, super, super hot. And you couldn't they weren't enclosed at all because it's garment district. Building,
Right.
And so Booker's first word was hot.
You know, in the 17th and 18th century, they used to put kids in you know, babies, toddlers in super long nightgowns that were, you know, that was like their day-to-day wear, were like nightgowns that were way too long, so that like they had a lot of trouble crawling because it would get like tangled around their legs, specifically so they could not accidentally like launch themselves into the fireplace.
Oh, I like that.
So there is an intervention for this situation, but it is
but if the
crude.
gown does catch.
Exactly.
Oh, man. You know what? That's the thing. People are like, you know, kids were fine back in the day. No, they weren't. They died all the time.
50% infant mortality rate until like the mid-19th century, I think.
Nope. Yeah. Just because we used to do it doesn't make it a good idea.
That's actually why the life expectancy, you see like, life expectancy in the Middle Ages was 35. It's like, because lots of people died before they were 5. If you made it to 35, you'd probably
you're good.
live a while.
Quinn, I know you said you were doing some, Quinn made his persimmon, he's going to call this a sorbet, but it was very highly pectin, so it had a lot of texture, right? Is that,
I love those high pectin sorbets.
Oh, no, I did both a gelato with a little bit of dairy and a sorbet, straight like 90% persimmon.
Was it chewy?
No, it had a good texture. Again, I still stabilized it a little bit, but it was really good.
And did you taste the one that had too much succinic acid in it? And what was the story with that?
Oh, it was good, but didn't taste like persimmon enough.
Tasted more like oysters and blood?
Like it was it was like persimmon apricot. It actually really wasn't bad.
Okay.
I made a banana ice cream over the weekend, actually.
How was it?
That was also chewy and pectin-y in a pleasant way, yeah.
But like using which technology?
Like for freezing it?
Yeah.
Just like a countertop compressor ice cream machine I've had.
Which one do you have? The Lello?
The Lello, yeah. I got it in like 2008, I think. So it's definitely not a current model, but it's also made to 2008 standards, so it does actually run quite well.
All right, so on the Lello, correct me if I'm wrong, batch time is somewhere like 18 minutes, right? 19 minutes?
Mine was more like 25.
25?
But it wasn't like ice. I mean, it was like fridge cold, not like ice cold.
Right. So, on those things, when you harden them off, does the texture really suffer from the long batch time, in your opinion?
Well, like, I mean, I was talking to my husband about this because we were like testing a recipe, and I was like,
shout out to Tom.
Shout out to Tom. Hi, sweetie. Where like, yes, this is not at the quality necessarily that you would get from an ice cream store, but it's still ice cream at your house that you made. So like, it's a little grainier than I'd want if I was buying someone else's ice cream. But like, if it's ice cream for me that I made, I still get, there's that. It's exciting to have that. So, if it's still like pretty good, it's still great.
So I just read a bunch of patents on, So a problem that people want is for you to buy an alcoholic beverage or not even alcoholic necessarily, but pretty much always alcoholic. And you put it in your freezer, and instead of getting the plate-like crystals that I like from quiescent freezing, they want it to come out of your freezer like a Slurpee. So they, I forget what the mix of it is, but they add a bunch of stuff, like they add stuff to stabilizers basically to prevent large crystals from forming, right? And then they add nucleating agents to it.
I was about to ask if there's like a lot.
Yeah, so they add insoluble nucleating agents to it that are tiny, right? I forget which ones they used, but you ever experimented with this kind of stuff?
I mean, not on purpose.
Right.
But, or not in terms of like changing the composition of stuff to control ice crystal texture. But yes, I have, accidentally and partially on purpose made plenty of iced slushy alcohol.
Yeah.
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 You know who's done a video about freezies?
Well, who's that?
Or slushies? Next week's guest.
Ah.
Oh.
Chris Young. Yeah, coming on. Finally coming on after all this time. Do you have his combustion engineering thermometer?
A what now?
Have you seen his thermometer?
I don't know that I have.
All right, I'll give you the spiel.
Okay.
Because tune in next week. But first, hey, Stas. Monday at 2. Monday. So, Stas, can they order those freaking Searsalls yet, by the way? The ones I was talking about earlier?
I don't know. I have to talk to Flexport. Yeah. They are here. They are here.
But we're selling them on our website, right? We're selling them just through our website?
We're selling them on Amazon.
But can we also sell them through our website because I hate Amazon?
That is a question for Flexport. Yeah, I will figure it out.
I should be able to.
Yeah, it's just like Amazon. Like,
they were all there in 2 weeks, Glenn.
Somebody from Canada is going to order one. And then they're going to be like, you didn't tell me I had to pay the VAT. And then they're going to ask for a refund. And then we're going to get completely hosed. And then Amazon's going to take it back and chum it up. And then that's one less of the only a couple that we have. You know what I mean? So it's like Amazon can... Anyway, so Chris's thermometer is it's a multi-point thermometer. Right, so it's
like multiple probes.
Correct.
Okay,
and it it's got a little
multiple sensors in one probe.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's got and it's you charge it via USB, non-contact via USB.
Okay.
And then
like magnetic or something.
Yeah, and then you shove the probe into whatever. You don't have to hit the center. I mean, you're supposed to go through the center, right?
Oh, past the center.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and then you just wait, and then you can either do it on your phone or you can do it with the little readout thing, Bluetooth to it, and it predicts when you tell it what temperature you want, and then after it checks the curves of the thermal ramp that it's at, it predicts when it's going to be done.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works. And also for other fun crap, it'll also act as a logger. You can get the data out if you want.
Nice. And it can it has some kind of electronics that hold up to oven heat. Inside of it to transmit.
I mean, that's the thing. So the trick, the way to destroy one is that all of the brain is actually not in the head where you would think the brain is. The brain is in the actual probe. And so you're not allowed to have the probe.
Because so like the meat itself is insulating the probe from the heat of the oven. Clever.
Ding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
smart.
Yeah, that is smart.
Smart.
Yeah.
But we're also going to talk about creamies because, so he had which is the worst name for a product ever, the Ninja Creamy.
I was thinking creamies like what they call soft serve in Vermont.
Really?
Maple creamies, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Vermont.
They don't have very many people. They can do stuff like that. So the creamy is like, the Faco-Jet.
Oh, yeah.
Patent ran out,
Yeah.
so the Faco-Jet.
Nice.
So it's like a $300 Paco-Jet. So Quinn's had one now for like a year and a half. That's how long it's taken to get Chris on the show, or a year or whatever it is. But I wanted to have...
a year and a half.
Okay. I wanted to have Quinn and Chris talk about it because Chris has obviously a lot of experience with like the Paco-Jet, and like Quinn's has, his perspective from like writing his ice cream book. But I feel like both perspectives are useful for people who want to know how does this thing hold up versus a Paco, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And from everything I've heard from pros, like, you don't necessarily want to rely on the creamy in a restaurant.
In a service situation?
Yeah.
Not,
of course.
Not
like,
surprising, but...
It's not like you wanted to rely on the Paco Jet either. Oh, my God. Who has had a Paco Jet has not had it break?
Like, literally nobody.
Yeah. That's why, like... that's why
you
chefs
really
are friends with each other.
Get,
exactly.
5.
No one can afford
you
that.
You really afford to get 5 creamies.
Yeah, I mean, I asked that. So, like, Leo Robacek opened up, what's it called, Pennyworth in Brooklyn, right? And he was waiting for his Paco to come in. And I was like, what about creamy? And he was like, yeah. I was like, but they are, like, 6 times less expensive. But I don't know.
I'm reminded of the time when I was working at Noma when we added a bunch of, like, grilled stuff to the menu and bought a bunch of like big green eggs and ran them so hard they kept cracking.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's cheaper to buy a big green egg or 5 big green eggs than install the proper oven until you have to like keep replacing them. And then eventually we got, I think, a Hosper grill oven thing, and that never broke. So yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, I'm just not, the green egg doesn't work the way I want it to work.
Well, I have limited experience grilling because I've always lived in apartments. I mean, I can grill.
Yeah, but, I've seen you do it.
But yeah, exactly. We've grilled together, but I do not have one in my immediate surroundings.
Yeah,
I wish I did, but
like the big green egg, all those Kamado style grills are built for people with patience, right? Because they build up thermal mass, and you're like you can hold them. I was like, no. You know what I mean? I want.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you've seen me grill over a fire, like on the ground. Yeah. Exactly.
Hell yeah. Yeah. At Nastasia's seaside resort.
Yeah.
Well, not sea. What's that called? Soundside.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, that reminds me, I can plug my book because there is a recipe for people in circumstances like mine where you're in a living situation where you cannot have an open fire and you want smoky taste. There's a smoke oil, so lapsang souchong infused oil that you can then use to apply delicious smoky flavors to things by oil poaching them.
Nice. I do all of my quote unquote cold smoking with hickory smoke powder.
Nice.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever smoke you choose. Choose your smoke. You can get whatever. Yeah. They're pretty good. You know what the issue with them is?
I'm going to shout out real quick. Will and Dave in the Patreon have both purchased Flavorama.
Oh, thank you.
I'm watching it happen in real time. So
nice.
There you go.
The thing about the powder is if you add a little bit too much, it just goes acrid. It's like over smoking something.
Yeah.
Well, why? Like, talk about. Let's do some flavor crap. Talk to me about why something is. I mean, obviously things are dose dependent, but like you mentioned that in the salty section you mentioned that there's both a sense of saltiness and.
Yeah. Well, so that's more of so flavor is taste and smell.
Yes.
That's chapter 1, I believe, part 1. In the case of smokiness, we're mostly talking about smell and aroma. In the case of salt, we're talking about taste.
But the acrid stuff is actually is that a flavor, or
it's mostly it's a flavor in the sense that it's mostly smell based. You can get some the acridness.
It's not bitter. It's not bitter.
But you can eventually So if it eventually becomes bitter, then the bitterness and probably some like trigeminal like astringency. Yeah. Trigeminal being like the sense of touch that we use for flavor, including spiciness. I mean, so if you've ever like tasted something that was properly salted and then way over salted and it almost felt like burn-y, we have a regular salty receptor that's activated in a certain range, but then like over a certain amount, there are I think we used to believe it was one dedicated receptor, but it probably is something else. We're not totally sure. A second signal of too much salt. We can taste salt to begin with because we need to like take in a certain amount of sodium in our diets so that we don't, lose our osmotic balance and die. But then too much salt is also bad. So it's kind of this, belt and suspenders thing of like, yes, make sure you eat salt, but no, not that much.
Yeah.
But then with Yeah, I mean, especially with smell molecules. So things like, going from nice smoky to too smoky. So like the obviously, like if you have more of a smell molecule, it smells stronger. But you'll also get a situation where the quality of the flavor or smell can change. Either because like your brain gets like the much higher signal and it's like, wow, this is not so great, or at a much higher concentration, the smell molecule is like activating other receptors that usually don't respond to it unless it activates it a lot. And so like there's certain aldehydes, 2-methylbutanal, 3-methylbutanal, that in like lower concentrations smell kind of like chocolatey, malty, a little bit like a Funyun, and high concentrations smell like intensely of cheese.
I like both of those things.
Which I know because I have spilled it on myself and smelled like cheese for about 2 weeks.
What kind of cheese, though? There's so many cheese. Like, which one of the cheesy?
Kind of like cheddar cheese powder. That kind of like not the like butyric acid cheesy note, but like the kind of like almost like, I don't know, higher and sharper cheese note.
But not like a moldy, not like a blue cheesy note.
No, not so much.
No.
Yeah. Like if you get Parmesan juice on your hands.
That doesn't come up very often. I don't juice wheels of Parmesan very often.
You leave a piece of Parmesan out and it starts sweating and you get the sweat on your hands and you're like, oh, God, yeah, like that smell.
I mean, I juice a lot.
I've done
right.
Parmesan cultured cream and turned it into butter.
Nice.
That was funky.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. By the way, Arielle was the person who, when I made the dirt martini, came back with the math and said that I had, what is 6 orders of magnitude over threshold?
I believe so, yeah. A million times higher than the odor threshold for geosmin.
Geosmin. So
Core. So, I mean, like you did do serial dilution in the sense that you made a 1% solution and took a tiny amount of that, but I think you'd have to do it a couple more steps.
I bought it at 1. Yeah. It's just nasty. You know what, though? I don't ever want that flavor. I know everyone likes it. So a lot of people like it. I don't want it.
And to be, for those who didn't see this episode or hear about this situation, geosmin is the like characteristic smell of dirt. And it's also the dirt flavor of beets. So intense dirt.
Like when catfish are not good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's often like produced as like a bacterial metabolite. So if like fish are eating a lot of like freshwater mud that has like bacteria in it,
as those freshwater trash fish do.
Exactly.
Yeah. They can taste clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on a lot of things.
Does anyone want I keep on trying to give away my bottle of geosmin because like
I'll take it.
Really? And I wish I had known beforehand because Dax is going to come home from college soon, and he will break any flavor molecule bottle, and then the whole house will never get it out.
Yeah, no, you won't. So yeah, you should. I mean, you can get like break resistant bottles that maybe you could decant it into, but I don't think I have any geosmin right now. So if you don't need it, I'll take it.
Hell yeah. Hey, do you know what? See, ever told you that I have all these lye problems? So many lye problems.
I've seen photos of your tongue after you was like, what's this white powder? Oh, it's a kitchen, so I'll check by sticking it on my tongue. And you burned your tongue.
Yeah. Even I have to give her props on this. It was bad enough that Nastasia actually felt bad for me. You know what I mean? That's how bad it was.
I had to call your wife.
What, say it again?
I had to call your wife. That was horrible.
That does sound kind of scary.
Yeah. Anyway,
so other lye problems.
So my current lye problem is that, as you know, lye is like super like hygroscopic, right? So and I was doing all these titrations for the book.
Oh, and you didn't make up your sodium hydroxide solution fresh every time?
Well, so I looked at the stuff. It was it had agglomerated into like a giant kind of ball of lye. And I was like, this is trash. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I threw it out. I diluted the hell out of it and threw it out.
Sure.
And then I ordered a fresh pound, kilo or whatever. So then I'm trying to make because like I had like the lye before and like everyone got mad at me. So I tried to make a solution that I thought would be safe to store, but still not such that I had like 5-gallon buckets of lye sitting around, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, what actually happened? Well, sorry.
Yeah, so I made a bunch of lye, like
Solution.
accurately,
Yeah.
like accurately made it as soon as I got it, right, and sealed it so that like they wouldn't change. Turns out, you know what? Lye will eventually make it through low density polyethylene. Like,
did it eat through the?
Yes.
Oh,
so I had I bought all of these juice jars, juice like plastic juice suckers with the LDPE tops and the clear ones that you get like like you buy at Whole Foods, and I had these concentrated, relatively concentrated solutions. I had my actual, the base that I was using, which I think is like 0.27 molal. You know what I mean? Because I'm doing density based crap, not volumetric titration. Anywho, so boom, one leaks out and destroys my 80-year-old can of lard. So I lost my lye and my lard, and I got in trouble. So then
did you make soap out of it at least?
No, well, that's the thing. And so then I had like another one. I put it into a milk jug, an actual milk jug, gallon milk jug. I stuck it inside a Cambro, and just 2 days ago, I looked at it and it had blasted out, and my entire Cambro is then filled with the lye stuff. So did you know that like these LDPE crafts were not okay for lye?
I've always stored it in glass, so
who's going to have all this glass around, and then Dax is going to break it?
Right, but like, I mean, technically, if we're like adhering to lab safety, it should be stored like in glass, or I mean, there might be some kind of plastic that I'd have to look up that is like rated as non-reactive, but like probably glass, and then like in its own kind of special metal cabinet.
I bet you if I gotten like actual Nalgene, which is I think polypropylene, right? They probably would. I don't know, but like
I don't know. I mean, like I should know this because I am a chemist, but there's lots of stuff where it's just like, oh yeah, we just do it this way, and that's storing it in glass.
Well, people don't store your lye in bunk.
Well, and the other reason that we make up sodium hydroxide solutions fresh for titration is they can actually like absorb trace amounts of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere that then like dissolve in the water, form carbonic acid, and like neutralize parts of the lye.
Yeah, but I can't do it because I have no way to store lye the solid without it picking up. I don't have desiccators and all this other stuff.
You have like packets of desiccant that you can throw in there?
I was told, I don't know, you're the expert, but I was told that the lye will suck the water out of a desiccant pack. That you have to use some hardcore desiccants.
That I'm not sure about.
Nah. Anyway, it sucks. The whole thing sucks. What I'm going to recommend anyone who's got to do titrations is just buy the solution you need made at a very accurate thing, buy a lab supply thing, even though it costs more. If you're doing it at home.
That's probably wise.
Yeah.
For those of you doing titrations at home.
Yeah. Did I tell you? I got like a really good pH meter. I think they got the price off by like a factor of 5.
Amazing.
Yeah, I got, a benchtop one with the thing for like $120.
Oh God. Can you send me, do you still have the link?
I bought instantly after I bought it, they took it offline and put it back up
for like $800.
Yeah. I was like, woo!
I have a terrible habit of like letting pH probes dry out.
Yeah, it's a bad habit.
And then having to buy a new one.
It's a bad habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah. Hey, question for you.
Yes.
Infusion question. Ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm redoing the infusion chapter, obviously, because I'm redoing all the chapters. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to include not how to do it, but just like sock slit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I've been thinking why would you? So for those of you that don't know, the way sock slit works. So, or maybe you want to say what a sock slit is.
Yeah. So a sock slit extraction is a solvent extraction. So you're taking something like hexane, although probably at home you're not doing hexane, you're using alcohol. In the lab we use hexane, and taking a sample of something that you want to extract, mixing it with the solvent, letting it kind of like filter off of the solids into like a little container that catches it, then you like distill the solvent out of that and like funnel it back through the original sample material. So the idea is that you do this multiple times so that each time you're pulling out, more and more of the remaining stuff in the sample.
Right, because the solvent's always fresh.
Yes.
And the kinetics is that the bigger the gradient,
thermodynamics.
The bigger the gradient you have, concentration gradient between what's in the solvent and what's in the product, the faster you're.
Yeah. Well, there's also like partition coefficients. So like the amount to which like an organic molecule will partition between alcohol. Or, well, not alcohol and water because they mix, but like octanol and water is usually what we compare, is dependent on, so like at a given concentration, there's like a maximum concentration you can have in like the solvent and in the sample. So then if you take the solvent off and add fresh solvent, you're at the 0 point. So you can, So that's take advantage of that partitioning.
That's the principle. So, but the only reason to do it is because you want to extract more. There's two reasons, I guess. It's somewhat faster than just letting it sit around because it's with heat. But if you want to extract more stuff or different stuff than you could doing a normal infusion. So one thing when you do alcohol, right, is that you're infusing with something that's a lot closer to like 70, 80%. If you're starting with 40, right, you're infusing with a distillate of that. It's not illegal because you're not actually separating them because it goes all back into the same thing. But you're infusing at a much higher alcohol point, and it is and it's warm at the same time. So I was trying to think of what is actually a good application where it's going to give a different example. The only one I've done so far is really I've done coffee, which is interesting because the temperature of it is not at the burning coffee temperature. And it's with alcohol and not with water, so it's different. And so I ran a soxhlet for like 2-3 hours, like 10, 15 cycles on coffee. And I got an interesting coffee bitters.
Okay. Well, you said you're using like 80 proof alcohol, or you're using like Everclear?
80.
Okay, because it'll work better with Everclear.
Yeah, but the thing is, remember, the stuff that's coming off the distillation is like...
Right. I guess so I say that because like the more water you have in any kind of flavorful thing that you're boiling, the more volatiles are going to get like driven off when you boil it. Right. So like this distillation, like the reason you get like flavors when you're distilling alcohol is less that you're like at the boiling point of basically any flavor molecules, because you're like usually well below that. But because like smell molecules repel water, they like go up into the headspace of the still with the alcohol. So it's like kind of the same feature as when you add spring water to your scotch and release some of the aromas. So like you'll have fewer like flavor molecules traveling with the alcohol as you distill it if you use a higher proof alcohol.
Yeah, I wasn't getting a lot of loss, thankfully.
Okay.
Because
I mean,
I couldn't smell it.
Like a sealed system, kind of.
I mean,
the
wattage on the heater is so low that, the tap water is aggressively more powerful as a chiller. You know what I mean? So I couldn't smell coffee until I broke the thing open.
Interesting.
Wait, so like what else would be good to test though?
Well, I mean,
I was going to do pure alcohol and mint because that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
what about tea?
I could try tea.
So like the thing with a soxhlet, what you get that's different than if you were like distilling it, like distilling usually leaves the taste molecules behind. But since like soxhlet's fundamentally a, solvent contact extraction, you're going to get all of those too.
Right.
So anything like tannic or bitter is going to
So
end up.
Right. The question is, right, what is there that you want to extract more than you could with a normal steep? Right.
Interesting.
I could try tea. The issue with high alcohol in tea actually is that a lot of those polyphenols don't come out of tea as well and super high alcohol, right?
Yeah. A lot of them are like reasonably polar.
Yeah. You know what's weird? I got bum quassia. This is a separate subject.
Okay.
So, so quassia, quasin, right, which is the quasinoids, whatever they're called, which is the bitter crap in quassia, is, everyone points to it as being like the purest bitters.
Okay.
Bitter. You know what I mean? Like as opposed to like, wormwood, let's say, or gentian.
Okay.
Right? And so I did like all of these water-based as a test, water and then ethanol, right? And wormwood is crazy bitter, even with a water extraction. Crazy bitter. Gentian, crazy bitter with a water extraction. Quinine, crazy bitter with a water extraction. Quassia is not very water soluble. I looked it up, like almost insoluble. But I wasn't able to get anything out of these things, even in a pure ethanol. Nothing. It's
Crazy.
like, and then I started chewing on the wood. Nothing. Have you ever had a bum quassia?
I mean, I have not, but you've probably bought more batches of quassia than I have.
Or did I blast myself and I can't taste it anymore?
That's not really how bitterness works.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've blasted myself on aroma molecules.
Yeah.
I couldn't smell or taste methylenthranolate for like
Really?
6 months once.
Oh, you like threw off your baseline threshold? Wow.
I put it in my mouth. I blew through a flavor tube. That was pure methylenthranolate,
Yeah.
and it blasted me. I was like, I couldn't.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
My brain was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
It's one of my favorite fake flavors.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, it's also a delicious real flavor in
Yeah.
Concord grapes and
Yeah, but I even like the one note Nancy.
yeah.
fakeness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
All right, let's get some
a good
questions.
molecule.
Let's get some questions. Did you wait? So this is the one you're interested in?
I mean, I can weigh in on any of the ones that I saw. Oh yeah, the mousy one.
right.
I can talk about that.
All right.
Yeah.
From Alexander, I got a bit of a general question that might fit when Andre Mack is on, but might also be better for someone like Harold McGee. And look who we got, someone who is like both in the spirits world and in the science world. So,
Hey.
Alexander, you won. You're not having a no good, horrible, very bad day. I'm trying to understand the fault known as mousy in wine, mostly related to natural wines where after opening, sometimes before, they quickly develop some truly awful flavors, often described as puke. For me, it comes out as very bready in a rye bread type of way. As in, where does it come from and why does it happen? And how do some winemakers avoid it completely without using sulfites? As far as I understand, it's not well understood other than being related to acid conversion. I read somewhere about wines with up to 80 parts per million of sulfites developing the mouse. Okay. And to add to this, I work at a bar or restaurant where he's made some strange discoveries, etc. So what do you got?
Well, so in terms of it not being well understood, I can fill that in. The fault that we know is mousiness in wine. So sometimes when you taste a wine, I guess it tastes like a wet mouse. That comes from like wild lactic acid bacteria fermenting along with the yeast and other things that you intend to ferment, and it creates a molecule called 2-acetylpyrroline. So that is the smell of mouse in wine. Interestingly, and kind of hearkening back to our earlier conversation about different smell molecules changing in quality depending on concentration, they'll also change in quality depending on like what you smell them with. So 2-acetylpyrroline is also in basmati rice, tortillas, and pandan leaves. And
but it's not the tortilla dog foot.
It is the tortilla dog foot. Yeah. So the tortilla smell, if your dog's feet ever smell like tortillas, it's because of 2-acetylpyrroline. It's probably some kind of skin lactic acid bacteria. I don't know. I'm just extrapolating. But yeah, it's also the smell of basmati rice and the flavor of pandan. So in a non-wine context, it smells nice and toasty.
I like all those things. I like dog feet. I like tortillas. I like basmati rice.
But in wine, with that that context, it is unpleasant. So it's a 2-acetylpyrroline. It's a nitrogen-containing volatile. So we tend to be more sensitive to like a lot of nitrogen and sulfur smell molecules comparatively to other things, so we can smell them at like very low concentrations. But nitrogen in particular is sensitive to acidity. So like a nitrogen atom in a smell molecule is very happy to become positively charged. So it takes on a hydrogen ion. So in an acidic situation, like where a normal smell molecule like won't interact with the acid that much, like a weak acid, a nitrogen-containing molecule will react, will become ionized, and therefore not volatile.
Well, this is interesting because
so you won't be able to smell it anymore.
Wait, when you add acid, you won't be able to smell anymore? Because they had a situation where they had two ferments, and every time they add hibiscus to the ferment, they get the mousy.
Well, when you add acid, you'll be able to smell it less. So
he's saying it develops it
right after he adds hibiscus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what sort of wild bacteria could be on the hibiscus?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of like a lot of, well, for example, serving lemon with fish doesn't just cover up, various fish-like flavors with lemoniness. It actually acidifies some of them, like the trimethylamine that smells like the fishy smell, and makes them unsmellable.
Unsmellable.
So acid and nitrogen molecules changes the flavor.
That was not my nickname. Balloon Knot said, question for the show. I noticed yuba forming on the surface of hot soy milk in a sealed mason jar at 80 degrees Celsius and with a small airspace, 100% humidity. I thought yuba formation was from evaporation at the surface. How does yuba tofu skin form? I would, if I were you, Balloon, go to, and I can't get my phone to stop turning, I would go to The Mechanism for Yuba Formation by Yiming Chen, 2010. And also productivity properties of protein lipid films prepared ... by Kun Chen in 2009, where they go into it. And while dehydration is important, you just need, I think, an air liquid interface, because it's about fats which are going to migrate towards the surface interacting with the protein. So I think long heat over a long time can also polymerize them, but I think it's accelerated by evaporation. Does that seem like it makes sense?
Yes.
All right.
Well, yeah, evaporation, but you also want protein denaturation, which is fundamentally unfolding. And since most of protein folding is driven by interactions with water, if you're adding stuff that's not water, for example, fat, to the situation, or air, then the proteins are going to fold differently.
Yeah, so it always forms at the interface, and like I say, I think dehydration is going to help it, but that interface still exists whether or not you have evaporation, air liquid interface, where the fat's going to want to, because the fat would rather touch the air than the freaking water.
Exactly. Well, the fat wanting to touch the air rather than the water is how whipped cream whips. That's how the foam is stabilized. The fat molecules stick out into the air.
I think you mean delicious whipped cream.
Yeah, exactly. And similarly with egg whites, when you whip egg whites, the kind of greasy parts of the proteins would rather stick out into the air than into the water to make a foam.
Let's get this. Maybe you have an answer for this, because I don't. Bruce Springsteen. I don't know why that's a tongue twister for me. I should be able to say it.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
It's a lot of moving parts of your mouth in different directions very fast.
Yeah. I have a Sean Brock recipe for confit potatoes. The first step is to brine the potatoes in sugar salt solution for 6 hours. Can't find anything that points to what exactly that does to the potato. Anything other than the fact that you're going to dehydrate it?
You're going to
flavor
it? Yeah.
Just going to dehydrate it and flavor it.
I think so. I mean, I know potato starches often have phosphorus or phosphates attached to them, but I don't think sugar or salt is going to do much with that.
No, yeah, I mean, they're pretty porous, so I'm assuming you will pull some of the liquid out of the potato because it's hypertonic, and I would assume that it's also going to get those flavors into the potato.
Seasoned, yeah.
Both of those things are.
So you'll have a less watery.
Although, you know what?
Or whatever.
Listen, don't waste 6 hours. Get a vacuum machine. Just do it now. Just do it now. You know what I mean? Not later, now. Oh, by the way, I did do you ever hear me go on and on and on and on about Guardian Serviceware?
I don't think so.
So it's this LA they're not anymore, but starting in the 30s, LA manufacturer of aluminum, heavy duty aluminum cookware. One of the early waterless cookers. And so you just put potatoes into it and put the lid on and put it on your stove and cook it with no water.
Oh.
And you know what? It doesn't burn, but it gets kind of brown. It gets kind of brown. So when you make mashed potatoes, it's kind of like toasted mashed potatoes.
Interesting. Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have any tricks for cooking goose? Lord Nabu wants to know.
I think you would know better than me.
You know what my trick for cooking goose is to get a duck instead.
Yeah, I've only done goose once.
Yeah, I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to try to get a good goose. I think most goose is terrible, but maybe it's better now. John, do you have anything Frenchophile?
Nope.
I'm going to work on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on this. Christian wrote in, hey, I'm looking for an alcoholic holiday beverage that is both delicious and highly drinkable, as in one person would be happy to consume multiple. Would love some of your favorite recommendations. Anyone? Favorite holiday?
I like Danish-style glug.
Ooh, I like Swedish-style glug, so we can have a fight about that later.
Yeah, I've never had
What's the
Swedish-style,
difference?
but-
It's probably the same.
I don't know. Does the Swedish-style have the, like, almonds and, like, mincemeat in it?
I don't know. Nils never
Danish
used to
style,
put
you
that
put
stuff
like
in.
sliced almonds and basically, like candied glacéed fruits in the bottom of it.
Well, the trick with any of those things, right, is you make it taste all good. Then when you heat it up, you always have to have a little alcohol left to go chagada because you're going to evaporate over the time that you keep it hot. It's all about the chagada. Do they use aquavit in Daneland?
No. Just one.
Oh, you don't spike it? Nils used to spike the hell out of it.
You might use like rum, but I don't think you mix aquavit and red wine, at least in Denmark.
Okay.
And they love rules about food. So.
All right. And then on the way out, we have 2 seconds. But here, Sam Erickson wants to know, do you have any tips for extracting caraway, dill, star anise, or other aquavit flavors without alcohol to create a non-alcoholic aquavit in the vein of Linny, just for family and friends?
Both acetic acid, so vinegar, and sugar will help increase the extractability of aroma molecules.
But then you're going to have a lot
water.
of vinegar in your...
Well, so you find like the amount that you can... I don't actually, like, I guess. I mean, if sugar does, then glycerin must also, because they have, like, basically the same polyol. Yeah. I mean, but then I guess a less sweet sugar, like a like trehalose or something like that. Three trisaccharide.
Yeah, I did I also, for the quassia that I told you I couldn't get to make, I did a glycerin extraction. Oh my God, so sweet. Oh my God, so sweet. I was like, oh yeah.
Crazy.
Because glycerin's so dang sweet.
Yeah, true, I guess.
And like a 60-40 glycerin water is like pretty pretty loose, so it's not like glycerin, whatever. Anyway, Arielle, thanks for coming on and sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Flavorama! Pre-order it now. Cooking Issues.